The restart of the 750 race will be over a further 7 laps, so that will give us the full 15-lap distance, and that's how they finished up at the stoppage. Reynolds and Morrison out in front from McElnea, Whitham, Rymer. Those top 5 will line up on the front row. The news about the injured rider, number 52, Chris Hodgson, from Chesterfield, has been taken away to hospital for treatment to a broken leg. So it looked to be a lot more serious than it was. Obviously it's serious for him, but could have been a lot worse. Anyway, 7 laps then ahead of them for the restart, the red flag and the red light. When that goes to green, and watch Jamie Whitham, number 5 on the Suzuki from the front row this time, who fairly bulleted away into 3rd place. Thought it was 2nd, it was 3rd, because Morrison went to the front. Number 6, Brian Morrison, leads again. And his teammate, John Reynolds, again is boxed in down there in 4th place. Jamie Whitham on the Team Grant Suzuki number 5 had a great start into 3rd, but Rob McElnea, reigning champion, who was having a tremendous ride in part 1 of this race, has had an equally good start into 2nd place. Morrison then leads McElnea. Also Mark Farmer on the Roton, riding number 46, had a good start from the 2nd row. The 2 Nortons are well placed in there in 5th and 6th places. So Morrison, number 6, leads. McElnea, number 1, in 2nd. Then it's Jamie Whitham. Then it's John Reynolds. And then closely in pursuit, the 2 Nortons, numbers 23, Terry Rymer, and 20, Robert Dunlop, respectively. Reynolds then already past the Suzuki of Jamie Whitham up to 3rd place. Kawasaki leads, Yamaha leads Kawasaki. Well, a fairly incident-packed first half, Steve. Is this going to be just as quick in the 2nd bit?
Well, it is, but John Reynolds has the work all to do again. He's got to pass Rob McElnea, so he actually finished up half a second in front of Brian Morrison, so he needs to be very close behind Brian Morrison to take the overall win of this leg, so he's got work to do. I think he can pass Rob McElnea, albeit we only have 6 laps remaining, so it's a very short race. So he hasn't got to hang around too long, and then once he's passed Rob McElnea, he's then got to close on Brian Morrison. He doesn't necessarily have to be past Brian Morrison. Following him closely within 20 or 30 metres would give him the overall win.
Now, watch this. The speed of the Kawasaki. Is it going to go for it? It's alongside and rockets through on the inside. So Reynolds has gone past McElnea, up into 2nd place. And as Steve Parrish said, he now has to set about hanging on to the shirt tails, or rather getting past Brian Morrison, his teammate number 6, who's in front. So the captions as they appear will give the aggregate position, so it is the actual position that you are looking at. No, that's Jamie Whitham, that's Whitham on the grass. Jamie Whitham hard into the tyre wall, but he's up on his feet and no doubt kicking himself, leaving the bike there. He was lucky to get away with that one.
He was. Fortunately, he hit the tyre wall with the full length of his body, so it didn't do him too much damage. But we heard from Jamie Whitham, he gives it his best, and he certainly gave it his best there, but he just couldn't. It was on the gooseneck. It's an 80-mile-an-hour corner. He just got on the grass, nothing he could do, and he did the best thing. He laid the bike down. Here it comes now. He's coming to the corner. He's got it wrong before he gets there. He gets on the grass. He can see he's going towards the wall, so he lays the bike down now, gets off of it. It's the only thing to do. Unfortunately, as you saw, he hit the tyre wall very flatly, and so he didn't go in there feet first and do any serious damage.
Well, a fairly heart-stopping moment for young Jamie Whitham there, and equally so for us here at the commentary point. These 2 Kawasaki teamsters are scrapping out tooth and nail, and that was a carbon copy passing manoeuvre. That's exactly how John Reynolds took Brian Morrison in the first encounter, and in this, the 2nd half of the race, Reynolds is now out in front again, but equally so, Rob McElnea is just as quick. Terry Rymer's now been elevated to 4th place, so number 23, the all-black Norton and all-black clad Terry Rymer in 4th place. Then Robert Dunlop, and number 46, Mark Farmer from Crawley on the other Roton. So there you have 3 rotary engine machines in the bottom 6. So Mark Farmer has now gone ahead. So Mark Farmer, the man in the front of your shot now riding number 46, has gone up into 5th place ahead of Robert Dunlop. So this young man really coming to terms with this rotary engine machine. and justifying the commitment and the faith that Brian Crichton has put in him riding it. An astonishing performance.
Yeah, terrific performance. A lot of people said that the Roton doesn't work. It has the old type twin shock absorbers as opposed to the monoshock single shock suspension system. Everyone said it doesn't work, but Mark Farmer's doing a great job on it here this afternoon. Number 46, Mark Farmer, he's really pushing hard.
There's been a degree of collaboration between the Norton concern and Brian Crichton, who was the original Norton technical development man, in fact, who built the number 46 bike. They have been very, very useful towards Brian Crichton, and in fact have loaned him some very special engine parts, and that's resulted in suddenly the Roton almost being on par, and in fact certainly appearing to be almost a match for the factory Nortons on this occasion, definitely. And Mark Farmer now is in 5th place and has got Terry Rymer in his sights.
Yeah, he has. So we're now looking at number 23, Terry Rymer, who is back on the pace. But John Reynolds has now gone round in a 1:29.23. He's virtually equalled the lap record once again. So he's straight back on the pace. It's quite incredible. I'm surprised that Brian Morrison led him through that last time. I mean, it was a carbon copy of the first half of the race, and at the same spot, John Reynolds is so fast as they go up through Charlie's corner there. He really is riding superbly.
Further down the order then, there's a battle between David Jeffries, number 35, number 30 there also very much in the frame, and number 10, that's Jeremy McWilliams. So Sean Emmet, number 30, the man who's riding Dean Ashton's bike, and Sean Emmet very, very capable on the 600cc, and in fact leading the 600 Super Sports class, definitely. Sean, well, Ian Simpson was leading the class until injured himself in practice here. Sean Emmet in with a chance now of winning the championship, has turned to the 750 midway through the season, had a brilliant ride at Mallory Park in the 750, and is going well here ahead of Jeremy McWilliams, who's riding the Oxford Products Alec Hammond bike, which Trevor Nation started to ride at the beginning of the season. The number 10 Ducati, now ridden by Jeremy McWilliams, is tucked in the back of Sean Emmet, but the lap record, the quickest man around here, without a doubt at all, John Reynolds on the Kawasaki. Yeah,
John Reynolds just obliterating the lap record, but Sean Emmet going extremely well on the 750. And I have to say that Jeremy McWilliams on the ex-Trevor Nation Ducati rides in the 250 class, jumps off of a small, tiny, lightweight 250 onto the big 750 Ducati here, and really doing a great job. I think he's a man to be watching on the big 750s.
David Jeffries, number 35, young David Jeffries, having his first 750cc season, is the man at the tail end of this little trio. And all these riders are on 750s really for the first time in this 1992 season, or rather it's their first season on 750s, and they're going really well indeed. They are currently lying in 7th, 8th and 9th places respectively. So the 7th place man, number 30, Sean Emmet, leading Jeremy McWilliams. Caller there, number 49, out of the running, and that's Stuart Nicholson from North Yorkshire, North Allerton in fact. But Sean Emmet, the motorcycle journalist from Camberley in Surrey, just 22 years of age, number 30, is leading the big beefy V-twin Ducati.
Across, and we're back to John Reynolds, number 3, who is just out in his own, 29.1 minute, 29.43, well in with the lap records here at the moment. Lap 14 and 15 laps, and look at the distance he's pulled out on Brian Morrison. He's now 3.34 seconds in front. He is just cruising. At the moment, this man can't do a thing wrong.
This is round 4 of the Supercup Championship, and of the last 6 races, John Reynolds has won 4. No score at all at Donington. He broke down and fell off respectively in the 2 legs, but since then has never looked back, taking a maximum from each of the remaining 4 races. And Mark Farmer, number 46 on the Roton, stretching out ahead of Robert Dunlop, number 20 on the second of the 2 Nortons. Then comes the charging bunch with Sean Emmet, number 30, ahead of Jeremy McWilliams, who's growing in stature on the Italian V-twin Ducati. And of course, the Ducati does have an awful lot of punch, and there are limits within the class. It's allowed to be a lighter machine, is that right?
Well, in Superbike, in the Supercup series here, there is no weight restriction so much, but in World Superbike, the twin-cylinder Ducati can not only be lighter, it can have more capacity. It can run up to 1000 cc, which this one we're seeing here today, number 10, Jerry McWilliams, is an 888 machine, so it's a much bigger engine, but because it's twin cylinder, that's allowed, as opposed to the 4-cylinder Japanese. So we're now on the last lap. John Reynolds, number 3, he's away. The man is just riding so well. The bike is working so well. There can't be a good bike and a bad rider, and a bad rider and a good bike. It has to be the combination, and we're looking at it. Number 3, John Reynolds.
Well, this will move John Reynolds, who currently sits on 80 points. This will move him on to 100. Terry Rymer, meanwhile, in the 4th place, will inherit 13 points. He is currently sitting on 100, so he will move on to 113. So it's certainly going to go down to the next race, and maybe even one more before John Reynolds can actually say that the championship is his, because Terry Rymer, number 23 on the Norton, is just chipping away, scoring the points, having had a double maximum in the opening round at Donington, and is not going to surrender that easily to this man Reynolds, number 3. Although I have to say the Kawasaki looks particularly devastating, beautifully turned out. The whole crew here at Cadwell have got their act together in a very professional manner indeed. And Colin Wright, the team manager, standing trackside, rubbing his hands with glee as the checkered flag goes out for John Reynolds. Being waved as well for teammate Brian Morrison goes over the line. Then it's Rob McElnea, and 4th place goes to Terry Rymer, who retains the championship lead. 5th place to Mark Farmer, but John Reynolds, number 3, a very worthy winner here at Cadwell. There it is then. On aggregate, Reynolds from Morrison, Rob McElnea, a great ride for the Yamaha man, Terry Rymer, Farmer and Dunlop, those rotary engines were very quick here.